couldn't, like, because when you look back, people were people before 1848. Like, yeah, a lot of people might have been slaves in a particular area, but they're people. Right? 14th Amendment now they're corporations. Because why should, a certain group of people get rich off of, slavery?
So basically, when it comes to the Constitution, everything up from the First and 10th Amendment is basically
Sure.
Right.
is helping that person reserve their rights.
Right. And everything after it is an amendment, which was the corporate people latching on or grafting themselves on to the jure law of the land in order to commit their fraud.
Okay.
Which is the precedent of taking the congressman out of their office. Because you couldn't be black anymore. And
Yeah,
like,
because remember, they say minority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that the Continental Congress was prior to the Congress. So the Continental Congress was really in charge, right? With John Hanson being the last man standing, basically, right? He set it up so that it's a dual government. It's not just Europeans own United States of America. How people's concept of it is that it's the Europeans. No, like it's ours too. That's why there's a pyramid on the dollar bill, and the pyramid has nothing to do with masonry. The pyramid has to do with the pyramid. Like, who built the pyramids? Us. Okay, so then what's us? What's
doing
our
there?
thing doing in America? This is what black people need to look at. If you're black and you say that you come from Africa, okay, well, that's where pyramids are at. All right, well, that's on the dollar bill that you have in your pocket right now in America.
Explain that.
Explain that. Why is that in America? But nah, that's the Illuminati symbol. You know, you can't say that. You're making that up. You know what I mean? You don't know what you're talking about. All right, fine. King Alfred plan. I'm not worried. Like, I know I got nationality up here, so I don't need a card or paperwork or nothing to navigate. You navigate regardless. Right? You know, right to travel. Right to travel doesn't mean get in a vehicle and turn the key. Travel is walking, travel is take the bus, travel is biking, rollerblades, skateboard, little electric bike, whatever.
Horse and buggy.
Horse and buggy.
Like your conveyance, your means of...
Right, your means of conveyance. You know, on a spiritual level, we know our means of conveyance is the body. Right? But on the earth plane, in the body now, what's your means of conveyance? You know? So you better be using your body because that's exercise, and you know, that's better than just sitting down behind the wheel. You know? So this part now is Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an introductory programming manual. Operations Research Technical Manual, TMSW 7905.1. Right? So this is their stuff. So, you know, like, it's from 1969. They talk about, yeah, it's not supposed to be revealed to the public or whatever, but, like, it's been out, you know, because they have agents in their own thing that's trying to topple it from the inside. So they have their own problems that they have to worry about, right? So this is a problem that they set up to handle itself so they can deal with the bigger issues that they have to handle. Like, there's $80 trillion debt owed to international banksters, and people are starting to proclaim their nationality. That we're losing the collateral that we were going to use, the human shadow resource that we were going to use. It's dwindling down. That's the other stock market crashing.
So what
Backup. The reserve is crashing now. As Negro, black, and colored people start proclaiming their nationality and getting out of this status.
So what, like you said, what are you gonna say? What happens when your reserve runs out?
No, I was gonna say, when, like martial law or whatnot comes in to play,
Yeah, that's when the reserve runs out.
that's when the reserve comes up. Okay.
And
okay.
now they have to go out now and corral these cattle
Straight.
that are running around the barn.
Straight.
Because they came out of their confinement.
And
But they didn't come out of their confinement by nationalizing.
right.
They didn't come out of the confinement and say, you know what I mean, like, we are now the cows of the... you can't touch us. You know what I mean?
But, yeah.
We're supposed to graze all over there. You're not supposed to have us eating grains and stuff like that. Like, we know that we're cows. We're supposed to eat grass. Why are you guys giving us grains? Like, okay, we're revolting from the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
We're revolting from the matrix.
So that only takes effect with people who are under that certain status. For people who,
Right, but that status is a frame of mind.
right.
That's what
That's
I'm
right.
saying, like, okay, cow doesn't have intelligence, right? Because it's an animal, they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you feed a cow grain, get it used to grain. But as soon as you give it grass, it's going for the grass.
Yes.
It's not going to eat the grain if the grass is there,
Yeah.
right?
So how can it not have intelligence?
So how can it not have intelligence, right? Okay, so then when they break us down to the beasts of the field, that they said they did to the nigger, you know, we break the nigger down,
Mhm.
right? With William Lynch and all that stuff, break him down like a horse.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have him just do your will, put a leash on his neck, and you just walk him around town.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's your pet.
Yeah.
Like they talked about that in
Right.
slavery. So people had a rope around a man's neck walking on the street saying, yeah, this is my nigger.
I used to do it to white people too.
Right. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's because of the mentality.
Yeah.
Because of the psychological, you know what I mean? The psychological wires are crossed
Mm-hmm.
in our people. Everybody else gets nationality. Everybody else
Asians.
understands it. Yeah, they understand it. They know what it is,
Mm.
right? It's not something that they're taught. It comes through their mother. That's part of them. You know what I mean? Just like how you know, you know, like there's certain Asians that out the womb they're used to taking Tai Chi, no matter what.
And learning Japanese on Saturdays.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
that's
their
just
national
what you
and
do.
culture that. No, well, it's true, and I applaud them for it. Still,
Yeah.
you know, they're honoring their
That's what we do.
foremothers and forefathers. What do we know?
Right?
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's the silent weapons is the means of how they're getting their things done that they want to get done.
Okay.
Right? Silent weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Remember it was saying the psychological attack. A psychological offensive can be just as deadly as a physical offensive. In some ways, more so.
More deadly.
So in this way, more so. To go with a silent weapon than a weapon that, you know what I mean, like makes a noise and baits up the whole scene.
So it's belief. It's like when you're teaching us the knowledge about the right to travel, our status as a more. It's more like how you were showing me the other day, Tez, was like it's a part of you. It's just, and you just made the comment.
Yeah.
You said it's not the documentation that makes you a Moor. It's like your mind and your spiritual. Like you have to believe. Say anything.
Yeah.
You
That's
have
how
to-
easy, but that's how easy it is.
That's how easy it is.
People think it's
whole bunch of process.
papers and file the papers and I need fiat because I can't file the papers and how am I gonna, and this is just frustrating.
Yeah, people are caught up on the 2 stages of the 3-step ladder. They're caught up in the belief and faith, and they don't want to activate the fruition.
Right. But that's really all it's about. Just activate fruition and everything's gonna flow how it's supposed to flow because it's active.
Yeah, like the what do you call it? The ancient or whatever proverb, whatever. Man, know thyself. Yeah, that's part of it. But then You know yourself, but then you have to become what you know. And that's what man know thyself is, really. Like, be what you know. If you're not being what you know, then yeah.
Yeah, so this is silent weapon, right? Go to the history part. Secure. Silent weapons for quiet wars. All right. Historical introduction. Silent weapon technology has evolved from Operations Resource, OR, a strategic and tactical methodology developed under the military management in England during World War II. The original purpose of Operations Research was to study the strategic and tactical problems of air and land defense with the objective of effective use of limited military resources against foreign enemies. Logistics. It was soon recognized by those in positions of power that the methods might be useful for totally controlling a society, but better tools were necessary. Social engineering, the analysis and automation of a society, requires the correlation of great amounts of constantly hanging economic information, data. So a high-speed computerized data processing system was necessary, which could race ahead of the society and predict when society would arrive for capitulation. Relay computers were too slow, but the electronic computer invented in 1946 by J. Presper Eckert and J. W. Marchley filled the bill. The next breakthrough was the development of the simple method of linear programming in 1947 by the mathematician George B. Dantzig. Then in 1948, the transistor invented by J. Bordian, W. H. Bratton, and W. Shockley promised great expansion of the computer field by reducing space and power requirements. With these three in positions of power, strongly suspected that it was possible for them to control the whole world with the push of a button. Immediately, the Rockefeller Foundation got in on the ground floor by making a 4-year grant to Harvard College, funding the Harvard Economic Research Project for the study of the structure of the American economy. 1 year later, in 1949, the United States Air Force joined in. In 1952, the original grant period terminated and a high-level meeting of the elite was held to determine the next phase of social operations research. The Harvard project had been very fruitful, as it is born out of the publication of some of its results in 1953, suggesting the feasibility of economic social engineering. Engineered in the last half-decade of the 1940s, is now quiet war machine stood, so to speak, in sparkling gold-plated hardware in the showroom floor by 1954. With the creation of the Moser in 1954, the promise of unlocking unlimited sources of fusion atomic energy from the heavy hydrogen in seawater, and the consequent availability of unlimited social power became a possibility only decades away. The combination was irresistible. The Quiet War was quietly declared by the international elite at a meeting in 1954. Although the silent weapons system was nearly exposed 13 years later, the evolution of the new program system has never suffered any major setbacks. This volume marks the 25th anniversary of the beginning of the Quiet War. Already this domestic war has had many victories on many fronts through the world. In 1954, it was well recognized by those in positions of authority that it was only a matter of time, only a few decades before the general public would be able to grasp and upset the cradle of power, for the very elements of the new silent weapon technology were as accessible for a public utopia as they were for providing a private utopia. The issue of primary concern, that of dominance, revolved around the subject of the energy sciences. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the sources and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge, the end is control. Beyond this remains only one issue: who will be the beneficiary, right? Or who's going to make the claim? In 1954, this was the issues of primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised in view of the law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such a people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. Consequently, in the interest of future world order, peace, and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with an ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy of the undisciplined and irresponsible many into the hands of the self-disciplined and responsible and worthy few. We'll stop there for a second. So consequently, the interests of future world peace and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public. Right?
Mm.
The American public is the minority. The American public is the Negroes, the blacks, the coloreds, the poor whites, right? Because something must be wrong with them in order for them to get cast out by their own,
They're poor.
right?
Yeah.
Something has to make them want to plump those particular Europeans or whites on our side in the denationalization process.
Mm.
And those are the ones that, you know, like, you know, when you know, we used to talk about, you know, white man can't jump. And then there was the one white dude like that could dunk,
Yeah.
right?
One of them.
One of them. Those guys.
Woody Harrelson.
Right?
For real.
You know? The down white guys.
The ones you
But not the
with.
wiggers, not the actor ones. The real ones that are down, right? For the cause, more than like black people.
What up, Dren?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Right? Right?
Get out of here, man.
So the American public is, you know, the Latinos and the Puerto Ricans, the South Americans, the people in the Caribbean, people in North America, and then the poor whites that got thrown into the mix, right? The ones that got casted out. In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and apply the new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principle of operation and public appearance as to earn for themselves the name silent weapons. Right?
What are you
And-
talking about?
Right.
Books?
Again, too, like, a silent weapon is them saying American public in here. Right? So they're basically telling the minority, well, if you proclaim your nationality and become American again, right, instead of these slave labels that you've adopted, we'll give you the pass. Because they can't do anything to the American public. They could only do things to the American public if they accept the offer to be Negro, black, colored, i.e. slave, corporation, property.
And then,
It has to be offer and acceptance.
right, just to qualify that, from Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook again, there are two territorial jurisdictions created by the Constitution. The first is the territory, i.e. that designated portion of the Earth's surface which is deemed the imperially extensive real estate holdings of the nation over which all power must be exercised within the strict letter of the Constitution. The second is the other property, quote unquote, i.e., a territory unincorporated but included into the Union of States, over which all power may be exercised strictly according to the mere spirit of the Bill of Rights as interpreted by Congress. The latter is subject to Congress outside the strict letter of guarantees of the Constitution and Bill of Rights. In the former, the federal government can have no direct control over the people, but by way of contract, because it is entering onto every scene equally subject to the same laws as all persons, as opposed to the latter, wherein the federal government can have full and direct control over people who are beneficiaries of this jurisdiction. As noted earlier, they may act as they see fit, i.e. as trustees for the benefit of public policy regulations known as codes and statutes of this jurisdiction. So, in other words, according to Weiss's concise trustee handbook, there are two jurisdictions created by the Constitution.
Hi there.
And Islam. For the people who want to gobble up the cake, then it says the federal government can have full and direct control over people who are beneficiaries of this jurisdiction.
The corporate.
It's telling you right there.
Yeah.
You can have full and direct control over these people. But if you know who you are, in the former, the federal government can have no direct control over the people, but by way of contract. Islam, because it is entering onto every scene equally subject to the same laws as all persons. So when you know who you are, then the entire United States government just becomes like another person sitting at a table beside you. And it's just, no, sorry, no, I don't want to talk to you. Well, you want something, this is going to cost you. No, you can't have this is mine. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is.
Descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. Everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creators, but only in its own manner of functioning. Okay. So, silent weapons are created in order to cause as much damage as you can with like an ordinary weapon that you would create, and more. So if there's a physical atomic bomb, then there's an atomic bomb silent weapon that they have at their disposal to use anytime when they're ready. Right? But like they're saying, if it's based on the people, whether this happens or not. It's based on how they react to situations. Their reaction is gonna determine whether King Alfred gets kicked in like immediately, or if they're gonna have to create some other things to try to, you know, keep everything balanced, right? Because they want it like a roller coaster, right? That's how they want it, right? It shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data processing instead of chemical reaction, explosion, originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder, from a computer instead of a gun, operated by a computer programmer instead of a marksman, under the orders of a banking magnate instead of a military general. It makes no obvious explosive noise, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life. Yet it makes an unmistakable noise, causes unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakably interferes with daily social life. The public cannot comprehend this weapon, and therefore cannot believe that they are being attacked and subdued by a weapon. The public might instinctively feel that something is wrong, but because of the technical nature of the silent weapon, they cannot express their feeling in a rational way or handle the problem with intelligence. there it goes again, not having intelligence, bringing you down to the level of a beast in order to deal with you under your duress, or when you're under duress, or under coercion. Therefore, they do not know how to cry for help, and do not know how to associate with others to defend themselves against it. They do not know how to cry for help, and do not know how to associate with others to defend themselves. They're telling us right in this thing, do not know how to associate with others means do not know how to nationalize. Do not know how to become a political body and put a gate around yourself in the jurisdiction that is trying to oppress you and protect yourself. Which is what Noble Drawley did with the Moorish Divine and National Movement since 1913, 100 years ago, that nobody wants to consider. But they're going to consider everything else that was set up by these agents that we read in the beginning of King Alfred Plan. The infiltrators. Because remember, they don't take the infiltrators out after the job gets done. The infiltrators stay in there and continue doing whatever work they're there to do. And many organizations that are people, or not even say are people, many organizations that are on this list in King Alfred Plan, their heads right now, 2012, are agents. Like are agents. Like, you know how they have a program where they hide people, change their identity and all that type of stuff? Okay, they have a program like that in order to pay people. They have a program like that to say, well, you know, we're going to say we gave this money to these people, but it really went to the agent. Right? Who's rallying for his people, saying that, yeah, we don't have enough, when he has enough that he could give everybody a little cut. And he's not even doing that. Or she's not even doing that. Right? When a silent weapon is applied gradually to the public adjusts, adapts to its presence, and learns to tolerate its encroachment on their lives until the pressure becomes too great and they crack up. Right? So when the silent weapon is applied gradually to the public adjusts, adapts to its presence, and learns to tolerate its encroachment. So how much times did a white whatever shoot a black guy? Like lots of times. And then we just, you know, it just happens and we just chill. We deal with it. Happens again, and you know, we march, picket, you know, whatever, we deal with it. It happens again, and we do some other stuff and we deal with it. It happens again, and then we do stuff that we know that didn't even work the last time we did it, and we still do it.
You know, by skills.
Right? Right? You know what I'm saying?
But they just turn and say that they forgive them.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't even say that they forgive them, because they're saying kill cracker.
Yeah.
So you obviously don't forgive them if you're saying that you want to get them off the planet and come on, let's let it be sunny so they can die from the heat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like that's not getting rid of them. Right? They adjust and adapt to its presence. They adjust and adapt to, you know, the hypocrisy. That, you know, the Bible says Jesus is dark skinned, and then you have a European picture on the wall. Right? They adjust and adapt to the fact that, you know what I mean, they're compromised, but they don't want to admit it. And they don't want to admit that it's them either. So they say, okay, you know what? We'll just deal with it. Yeah, it hurts, but we'll just deal with it. 50 strokes because I took a piece of corn? Well, alright. I'll just deal with it. I just won't steal corn next time. Right? And they do this on and on and on and on and on until like you're gonna blow. You know, you're gonna blow. Right? Therefore, the silent weapon is a type of biological warfare. It attacks the vitality, opinions, and mobility of the individuals of a society by knowing, understanding, manipulating, and attacking their sources of natural and social energy and their physical, mental, and emotional strengths and weaknesses.
Pure sorcery.
So they're not feeding only off your strengths, they're feeding off your weaknesses too.
Everything.
It's funny, Mom, you like?
Right?
This is like the spider and the cockroach.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just sit there and just suffocate you to death.
And the move off is just short.
Right? So the table of strategies. Right? Do, to, or to get. Keep the public ignorant, you get less public organization. Access to control points, including prices and sales, you get less reaction to outputs for feedback. Create preoccupation, you lower defenses. Attack the family unit, you control the education of the young. Give them less cash and more credit and doles, you get more self-indulgence and more data. Attack the privacy of the church, destroy faith in this sort of government. Right, so they're admitting that religion is government. Right? They're admitting that religion isn't God worship and whatever. If you attack the privacy of the church,
Right.
you destroy the faith in this sort of government. So King Alfred plans like putting everything out there for Negro, black, colored people because this is your like we're through. We're done with it now. It's either extermination or connect yourself back to the human family. Like no more giving you, you know, the more babies you have, the more money you get. What kind of system is that? And then it's only certain people that are on those programs. Right? Poor whites, all the minorities. Poor whites, blacks, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, Latinos.
Yeah, this plan worked.
Right?
Working.
There's more. There's more. Social conformity. And to get social conformity, you do social conformity and you get computer programming simplicity. You minimize the tax protests, you get maximum economic data over minimum enforcement problems. Stabilize the consent coefficients, you get simplicity. Tight control of variables for simpler computer input data, greater predictability. Establish boundary conditions, get problem simplicity over solution of differential and difference equations. Proper timing equals left data shifting and blurring. Minimum resistance to control, you get maximum control. Maximize control, you get ultimate objective. collapse of currency destroyed the faith of American people in each other. And then the end.
Because right now they're collecting the coins.
Right. Right.
And people are giving it up. People are giving the coins
Collapse the currency.
without even saying, well, okay, if I give you so much coin, you have to give me a check. You have to give me something in writing. They just hand it up freely.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have change machines and they just want your change.
Yeah. And you gotta pay too
Well,
for them change machines.
Exactly.
They take 3 cents out of the dollar.
He says that.
Oh, I'll take mine to the bank if you're gonna give me. I want my whole dollar.
Of course,
You know what I'm saying?
of course, because so much penny make a dollar.
But it's the whole mentality. It comes back to the very beginning of this class where we are what we believe we're supposed to be based on this whole history that we were taught.
Yeah.
Mystery, or whatever you want to call it. We think we're slaves, and we gotta settle for second best. And that's it. Everything else falls under that category, and that's what we do, you know?
I was doing some research on the Black Panther Party, like getting down, and I came across stuff I didn't even know and stuff, right? But the Black Panther Party, like whatever, that's another story. But the whole unraveling on what actually happened was actually the King Alfred plan. Like that's how they designed it for that era.
Yeah.
For those
69,
people,
yeah.
69, for those, and that's when the Black Panther Party was from 68 to 70, or 64 to 70, like it was only like a 8 year period span. All that stuff happened within the short period of time, and it was the King Alfred plan was designed it was designed for that. So everything that's going on now is the result of that, and that it's not a joke. It's not just something people saw that leaked out from the CIA, that people got their hands on this plan that they're thinking of doing or wanting to implement. That was actually what they implemented, and it has worked. As we were
Well,
saying,
it's working because it triggered
like
up.
real talk.
It's the parliament and people don't question the government when they start coming up that they're going to do this and they're going to stop this and they're going to do that.
Yeah.
People just sit on easy because people are working their plans.
Right.
Right.
So
And it's
Right,
gonna
right
stay
in-
this way.
in
It's gonna
your
stay this
eyesight.
way.
yeah.
It's gonna stay
It's
this
gonna-
way
this is-
until we do something about
and
it.
that's why we put in the name of the class that it's King Alfred Plan, 1969, until the minorities exterminated.
Yeah.
Because this is it. International community came up with Declaration of the Rights of a Child. Every child must have a nationality. They don't want to go do it. International community came out and said, rights of human beings. Everyone has the right to a nationality. Nobody can be deprived of their nationality. You can change your nationality anytime you want to whatever else you want to do. We don't care. Just proclaim your nationality. Nah, they don't want to do it. They want to be black, Negro, colored, African people, all these other labels. Right? Came out again. And they said, okay, we're going to do it for indigenous people.
1994.
And all indigenous people have a right to their nationality, and nobody shall be deprived of their nationality. Like, that's what Noble Jolly was talking about when he said that I'm going to repeat myself. He's not talking about, Moors get arrogant and think he's talking about them. When he says, I'm going to repeat myself. Because, well, you know, who else would the prophet speak to if it's not through a Moor? Well, not really, because he came for the nations. So it might just be somebody who doesn't look like you that's going to be telling you. And it's people who don't look like us that's telling us. But because all of them decide to be Masons, and they know the code, right? And then we throw it away, because we think that it's some evil thing that nobody can belong to, right? Then of course we're not gonna know what's going on.
Well, two things. One, in terms of Asian, the Black Panthers were, you know, like part of the King Alfred plan, perhaps. but they were destroyed from the inside by agents. And
Yeah.
I think we today in our meetings everywhere in the city, we're too naive.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't. It's not in our. We are that brainwashed. We're that. We've been taught to be that docile
Yeah.
that we don't even stop to think about it. They were done in by us,
Yeah, our own people.
our own people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's happening all over today.
Yeah.
And I tell you, there is an army of them out there. I
Yeah.
don't know what they do, whether they give them a few dollars or what, but there's an army of them out there.
Yeah.
I'm in a unique position, you know, because I get with follow and all that nonsense. Because I insist on going to meetings that I think I should go to, and I want to know the information and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So they were done in from the inside.
Yeah, for sure.
And well, as a part of what was the whole plan.
Yeah.
And of course, they got that too. That's a part of King, obviously a part of King Alfred plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But then the question that I want to ask the Masons for the Moors, they call themselves, you know, African American, Canadian, or whatever, but they, you know, like they are Masons,
Yeah.
but I don't think they're really knowledgeable
No, they're not.
about a lot of this.
No, they're not.
So although they claimed, well, I don't know if they claimed it, but they have become Masons,
Yeah, exactly.
but they don't really, you know.
Yeah, so if they can't become Masons, what's them dressing up in a fez that says I'm a Mason?
An apron.
An apron. What's that doing? Like, what's that doing?
They're
It's
wearing a uniform.
specifically, black people, black men can't be Masons. That's why they have them branched off in a separate thing called Prince Hall. So that's their stuff. And then the black guys that join, they're not allowed to really know the secret.
So may I ask you a question?
In the hall. Everyone else is in the room.
Yeah, right? The prince gets the hall, and everybody else is in the room.
They're in the
You don't
room
even
talking
get a
about
chair.
stuff.
You don't get a chair.
These niggas are in the hall.
Yeah, I'm
What are you talking
Church.
about now?
That's big.
Chilling in the friggin' hall, yo.
You know, I heard they got licky in there, man. Don't worry, you're a prince. You know what I mean?
At the door with the ear to the door, you know?
Oh, they got Kavasi
They got
in there, man.
Yeah.
What I was gonna ask you is, you know, since a lot of, I don't know if you're saying temples are being infiltrated or just places are being infiltrated, you know, which way are you preparing, or are you maybe strategizing to prevent people who come into like the family or whatnot and infiltrate the family too?
Well,
Good question.
for us, from experience, those people get weeded out. You don't have to do nothing. It's too fire around here for some people, but like for real, being dead honest. You know what I mean? Because we've been infiltrated as far as like our specific temple.
For real?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's happened like numerous times. Like numerous times.
Agents,
You know what I mean? People
Yeah.
coming
detectives.
in. Yeah.
You can't infiltrate a natural person.
And that's what I'm saying, like, a lot of those organizations in the States or whatnot, or wherever, or that are going on around the world, without the infiltration, they're still not pure within themselves. They still have, they're not being genuine. Because, and that's the thing, like, that's real. Like, if you're pure, something contaminated could not
Can't
come in there.
come in the realm.
It's gonna get, the pureness is gonna take over that contamination
Yeah.
in a second.
Or
Unless,
immune.
unless that thing
Joins
is
in.
already
Yeah.
somewhat contaminated, and it's not truly pure. It's just present itself to be that way.
You're immune, like the immune system.
Yeah, like,
immune to it.
trust me.
It's there, but you're
and
immune.
then our spirit, like, depending, and it's especially the way we're trying to move and conduct ourselves, it's coming from such a divine, genuine essence that, like, it's gonna be like it brought into open or to light right away, because it's not. It's like, shit. What am I gonna do to really infiltrate, to break down this movement.
Yeah.
Like the thing on the 407, like that was, I would say, the closest that they got. Not physically close, but like that was the closest.
Yeah, like that was a good silent weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
Yeah, but it ain't nothing because, you know.
Because we're not stupid, that's the thing. Nothing
Yeah.
when they're playing, they're dumb. They have no common sense. Enough people around the place have no common sense, B. And that's the difference between us. We break down to build up. So you can't, we're not missing no pieces, like we're not leaving nothing out.
And there's a long list of stuff that I could do to like a person who might be like sitting there taking notes, and then I decide, you know, I think you've been damaging me, so I'm gonna put a lien on you. Look up the definition of lien. Because that's how I operate. And then there's other people who have other knowledge, and we're connected with more all around the United States who are doing stuff on the daily. Like those, like I said, corporate people don't want to mess with natural people. Like it's not a good look.
And what
like you're getting crushed.
Yeah, and what the U.S. is saying is that we are the corporate people, and we don't need other corporate people leeching off of our.
Right. And that's
because it's art. Like you don't have any right to it. You said that you slaved, you came from Africa. Like why are you leeching off of us? And they want to sever the ties. And they've been wanting to sever the ties, but they can't sever the ties because if they sever the ties, then they're going to give up the fact that they're bound to this continent by heritage, and no political asylum will be available to them in any other country, so you can't do nothing with them. You're stuck here with this problem that you have, right? So they decide, well, then we'll just build jails. And we'll use the King Alfred plan to vibrate the ethers and make them step on each other's shoes, kill each other, and now we got two in there. Right? And then put this one on the corner and have him sell to this one, and then they're gonna, and then, you know, and we'll set an agent in, you know, that has a little bit more, so that these two guys could fight now for, and, it's repetitive theme.
It's not, like you said, it's from that perspective, it's like a need, right? It's not just a thing, it's not just internal. It's like the international banks are asking them, where's, like you borrow money, you gotta pay it back.
Yeah, like don't think that.
And they're saying, well, we got all these assets, but they don't do anything. They just sit and they take from us. Like my assets draining me. They're sitting on the couch, taking welfare and shit. I can't pay you back. You think the international bank cares? International bank don't care. I want something. Like you already took the gold, right? And then you wrote IOUs and said that you have all these people who are productive. But apparently, like you have a lot of them who aren't productive. But that's not my problem. I want what you owe me, and that's a contract. And that's spiritual. That's what other people don't understand, right?
That's why.
And then that's why the world is going into debt right now.
Right. Why Drew Ali came and made it easy. He said, if you don't do anything, just declare your nationality. Because, like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. I gave you the Circle 7, you didn't want it. I gave you the 101 questionnaire, you didn't want it. I gave you, like, temples and, like, the title to your vast estate. I give you everything. But you don't want it. Okay, well, if you don't do anything else, at least, like, proclaim your nationality. Declare that, at least.
But you were saying,
they don't want nothing.
you were saying that they don't declare their nationality by considering themselves slaves and having come from someplace else. However, people who came from Africa, many of them were Moors, and also even during slavery, fought to be free because they were Moors.
Yeah.
And although they were from Africa, I mean, they actually came from Africa, they know that, but they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
Moors.
Yeah.
And even during slavery, so that the fact that they were not indigenous to, you know, at least for right now anyway, it may have been from the two continents we're doing,
Mhm.
but for right now, they were not indigenous to North America.
Yeah.
But I think we have to acknowledge the fact that there were Moors who came from the continent.
Yeah, for sure.
That's,
Ah.
I think
But-
that's what it's about, is the accuracy of the terms.
Yeah.
When you said the last time from the continent, that's an accurate statement. But if you say you're from Africa, that doesn't even really, like, it's the word game with that. If you say you're from the continent and we're brought here, whatever, through the slavery, that makes sense. Because there are some. But if you say any one of those people say that they came from Africa, that is an incorrect statement. And that's what's making them a slave. They're not telling their proper story because they didn't come from Africa. They came from over there on that continent, but that continent has a lawful name, not
Yeah,
Africa.
well, that's, yeah.
And that's the trick. It's just that
That's
part.
not the, for me, that's not the point. The point is that that land entitles them to be Moors.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the
And
point,
they
yeah.
declare
But
that
that's-
without
but
having
that's the
to
thing,
declare
though.
that they're indigenous.
Yeah.
No, but that's what
To
they're
North
not.
America.
But that's
That's-
what they're not doing. They're saying that, yeah, I came here as a I came to this land from Africa, and they made me a slave. Okay, so, and well,
It's not saying
well,
it.
they made me a slave. So I want reparations for everything that they did. So plaintiff in there next.
Right, that's the point.
Oh, you guys are racist, you guys don't want to give me my stuff back because, no. If you don't have a nationality, right, they could even say African Moors. If you're really from Kemet, I'm glad you found your culture. Attach more to it. Don't be ignorant.
That's what it's about.
Because the last fallen name is Moor. So even if you're Cushite, Hebrew, whatever you want to call yourself,
Well, that was
you have to
my point.
attach more to it in order for it to have validity.
Well, that was my point, and I'm not really too concerned about it, because I think the movement's gonna grow and that people are going to be more aware. I'm just not one who can blame people for what they don't know, because
No,
I
ignorance is
wouldn't
no
have wanted
excuse.
somebody blaming me for not
Yeah,
know
but
what
it's
either.
not blame.
Well, it's.
Because
accountability.
Ignorance of the
Right.
law is no
It's
excuse.
just accountability.
It's accountability.
Yeah, not looking
Like
at
us-
from
Yeah,
that
well, I didn't
negative
know. I
mind
didn't know.
frame. It's just, it's
And I've
really
been
all
talking to
positive.
people who don't know either.
Granted, and that was the objective of people coming into the Moorish movement, to go tell people who don't know.
Mhm.
And if they don't accept it, then you got King Alfred plan waiting for you. Because that's the only option. Nationalize or die. Like, there's no options right now. It's either you're gonna say that you're El, Bey, Day, Al, or Ali, or whatever they're gonna do to you,
Incineration chamber.
right? Whether it's incinerate you, whether it's just, point you out, it's just, your lucky day. That you happen to be the person that, the white guy has to come and shoot to make an example now, because you don't have a nationality and you're not exercising as a national supposed to exercise.
Well, I think we're gonna have to fight it, whether you're more or whatever you are, you're gonna have to fight, or what when I say fight, that's not really the right word. It doesn't protect you from, it doesn't protect you.
That's people's misinterpretation,
No, I don't.
right?
Well, after all, they took, what this, I can't even get, they took Nova Drew Ali out, and they'll be taking a lot of other people out too before it's over.
No, but they didn't take him out. That's what we were talking about in the beginning. It was his own people
Yeah, we did,
that
yeah.
took him out. It wasn't like, some
But I'm not
Europeans
so sure that
infiltrated.
I'm not so sure that they were working independently.
No, regardless whether they're independent or not, the person who did it, right, looked like Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah.
The person who killed
The point
Malcolm
that I'm
X
making,
looked like Malcolm X.
the point that I'm making though is that it doesn't really guarantee you personally, me, let me put it, make it that way. It doesn't really guarantee me, because what they did back there, they'll do today, they are doing today.
So that's like
They're
what
doing it right now, here,
and that's what
for
I brought
sure.
up yesterday, right? Which,
So,
regardless of what
so-
you're gonna go through, which status you
I
wanna
think
be in.
I do what I do on the basis of principle, but I know those people and I know how they work and I know how,
Right.
I don't know what is in people that they so eagerly and easily cooperate and work with these people, but they do. I know that.
That's
So I
just their
stand for what I
position.
believe in and what happens, happens, but
Yeah, for sure.
I know what my
Yeah.
principles are.
Right, for sure. But that's what it's about. But it's still, it would still, just like the brother was saying, it is still more logical to live on principles as a Moor than a black person.
Oh, yeah, well, sure, well, yeah, we are Moors, so
Right.
whether people know it or not, they're Moors.
Right, and that's where people have to get to, because it's nationalize or die. They might think that they have options because, you know, they can go to the store and buy some sneakers and they can go eat out at some place and, you know, they have some money in their pocket and they have a job and, yeah, all that's cool. All that's good. But when you're looking at something like King Alfred plan that is blatantly telling you to please proclaim your nationality or we're going to exterminate you,
And scare the hell out of you in the process.
right?
So that you give up because you're put in the mind frame to be fearful. You know, the Illuminati,
Slave,
everything, that's
yeah.
the point. Fear, the pastor. Fear. That even if they have the intention, it does not have power unless you give it. So there's the reality of it happening, yes, but what are we going to do about it? It's there, but we can't walk around as we're not doing, and we're not the people that are doing it. But what out there, the plan was to keep people in that mentality,
Jurisdiction.
that they have this power over them because they're infiltrating us, they're doing all this, which is true. However, they've always been doing it. That does not determine our success or failure. It doesn't. They will always be in our organizations. They will always be. Just like we'll always be in theirs. Right? So what it is now is we are trying to strengthen each other, to be that strength for each other here. So we can move on and get this stuff dealt with because
So how are we in theirs? You mean Obama? The only person I know who's in theirs.
all of the Negro, blacks, and colors. Everyone that calls themselves Negro, black, colors are in their house. That's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? And then they're going to have, like, for example, those who know that they're Moors are just starting to come to class, but they're still in the corporate structure. Like Drawley says, some of my best Moors are still in the church.
And not cutting it, he said that
Yeah.
the Moors are a dangerous people. I am not going to wake you all up at once. If I do, I won't be able to do anything with you myself.
That's right.
So here the prophet is saying, as you know, the messenger, because it's more than just physical. It's more than just a physical war we fighting, it's also spiritual.
Yeah.
I believe that. I
Right.
And
definitely
like,
believe that.
as far as him, whatever, like, okay, you're just saying we weren't part of him getting taken out and they took him out, whoever they is. If he had decided to say, no, this shit is freaking crazy, it's never gonna change. We're not even, no one's gonna wake up, they're not gonna acknowledge that we're Moors, and this thing is just gonna get worse and worse. And he decided to give
Still in
up.
the towel.
Yeah. But he not did that. He kept going because he knows. All the prophets kept going. They don't
Yes,
stop.
They don't stop just
Don't
because.
stop.
Yeah.
Because it's a job that they
Yeah.
were assigned a long time,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
The soul was assigned to it, so when they
It's
come down here,
destined.
it's destined, they have to do it.
And we have the same
Right.
duty.
And in order for someone to reach that nirvana or that Christ, they have to not fear death. That's
Right,
a step.
Of course.
You cannot fear death because that's what they hold against you
Alright.
is your fear of death,
Yeah.
which doesn't naturally exist.
Exists, right.
Right.
Or the fear of death.
Which is
There's another one
The
too.
fear of death
wow.
is the death fear.
That's the death.
That's the silent weapon.
Yeah.
They could jump out the closet and scare you, you know, or they could play with you while you're sleeping.
That's true.
Coming through the floor.
You know what I mean? Or they
Oh,
come
like
through the
so,
phone.
yeah, but
Right? So yeah, so quickly what we're gonna run down now is just for Negro, black, colored, because we've been getting it's the currency's picking up, right? And people are messaging us regular. Oh, I want to know how to nationalize. How do I nationalize? What's this about? Right? So first thing, right? First thing is that it's your birthright. It's not anybody else's to sell to you, loan to you, lean to you, copy and give to you. Like nothing like that. It's completely yours. It's completely yours. And Noble Drew Ali did everything already. All you have to do is claim it and be willing to die for that. Just like we're willing to die for everything else, right? That doesn't mean
Ready to die for
anything,
the other side.
right? You're ready to die for the other side. You know, we're gonna go enlist in their army to go fight their war
That's right.
against somebody on the other side of the world that I never had no problem with. But I'm gonna go kill that guy. But then this punk officer or whatever that's bothering me every day, robbing me, you know what I mean? 50 G's, 80 G's, 100 G's, $50,000, $100 million got robbed by the police. But these guys aren't gonna do nothing to those guys, right? But they're gonna tell their son, yeah, don't go in the army. You know, go fight for the country. When you're fighting for a democracy, you're fighting for a corporation. Deception, right? So first thing is nationality and birthrights. As far as more belongs to any dark-skinned person. That's your birthright. You can take it and use it if you want to use it. You can take it and not use it if you don't want to use it. Because it's not something that somebody can give or take. It belongs to the people. And through studying, you'll learn how to activate it. You don't need a card or papers or whatever. The more people that, you know, because they already know what the names are. They already know that El, Bey, De, Al, and Ali are the names of the Moors. They already know that. They already know that the predominant names, the names that are used mostly, are El and Bey. And they know that, as far as the people out there. So it's just you get in a situation, put that on the name. But remember that once you put that on the name, now you have to go with that now. Because it's a spiritual move.
Yeah.
So don't think we're putting it out there, yeah, go and put El Bey on your name. And then you get in the situation and the El Bey on your name, and then, you know what I mean? You get out your situation, you're like, damn, this is pretty interesting. I'll just, you know, and then you decide to go back to the old name, right? And go do some stuff, and then try to come back to it's not gonna work. Right? Because, you know what I mean? It's offer and
Get off the
acceptance.
spot.
And that's
Offer and
that's playing the
acceptance.
game, operating in two different jurisdictions
That's
with
right.
the intent
With the
to
intent.
make benefits.
What's the
out of
intent?
both.
Right? What's the
And that's
intent?
conspiracy. That's
Right.
5 years on like.
Because we're already a beneficiary through the prophet. Right? Like we're a beneficiary to the same thing that he was a beneficiary to. That he got through his uncle. Which was, you know, just natural. It wasn't, you know, he had to, because, you know, the family was tighter back then than it is now. Right? Like back then, you don't have to say, that's my uncle and that's my nephew. Like, you know, it's like grass. You just know that that's what it is. So he's already entitled to whatever it is that I have, you know. You have your favorites or whatever, you know. But some of them, you just know, like, oh, no, this one's special. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give him a good chunk, because I know he's gonna be doing something with it, for sure. Being sent to do something with it, you know. And like, even I'll touch on this too, just so that people can know what the real perspective of the temple was during the prophet's time. Right? Okay. At a meeting where the holy prophet was present, he saw 10 Arabians, 5 Turks, 2 Chinese, and 1 Japanese join the Moorish Science Temple of America. The secretary asked the holy prophet, "Prophet, these people have their nationality. What should I put on their nationality card?" The Moors were the first people, and all other people that use our name were adopted into our tribe. Give all members a tribal name of the Moorish to let them know that they have rejoined with the founders of the human family. The MSTA does not have the power to issue nationality or change man from their descendant nature of his forefathers. But here everyone must proclaim their free national name, as we are teaching our people their nationality. So that's our job. Uplift fallen humanity.
Teaching, not giving.
Teaching, not giving. Not that, because it's not for us to give it. Not because we can't give it. Because it's not for us to give it. Because it's yours.
It's already yours, but if you forgot, we'll teach it
We'll
to you.
teach it.
And that's the Rex 84 program.
Right.
That's infiltration. Just dismantling you from that simple fact right
that
there.
simple concept.
That's infiltration. And then everything else stems from that. Then inputting people in groups, because these groups are now splintered off into a next direction. So you can now place people in groups, because now people grouped up when it shouldn't have grouped up. You just have temple consulates teaching people, and you just live as a national. No more need for the group, because there is the group. The temple, the university is the group. The need for groupism as we are social beings.
So once you hear
Belonging.
group, organization, association, you know, temple, whatever, be weary.
Okay.
Right? Because that's infiltration. The nation can't be infiltrated. Yeah, you can infiltrate a group. Just like the Vanguard said. Yeah, like
Change one word.
change one word, infiltrate.
Right.
But you can't do that to the nation.
But even if there were such thing as there has been to the groups, etc.
Yes.
Look at the documentation. When they
Look,
went
docu-
in to
you say
infiltrate,
documentation?
right, they went in, and what did they find out? Are we subversive? No.
Yeah, exactly.
We said we're not going to war.
Right,
Is that a bad thing?
right,
You know what I mean? Were we thieves or murderers?
right.
No.
Right, no,
So we have no fear of infiltration, A. And B, just to address Sister Gloria a while ago regarding the declaring of the nationality, right? And how can you have a guarantee that it's going to protect you? Well, it's like buying a lottery ticket. You're either going to win or you're not, but you sure as hell ain't going to win if you don't buy a ticket. It's that simple, you know? So, I mean, it's not a big, it's not a difficult thing to do, but it's a lifeline, you know?
I mean, it also, like, before what she said, and then it kind of coincides, but I was thinking about something, because you know I deal with the registration forms, it's always on my mind. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what's the problem with people wanting to really fill out the registration form and be a part of the temple? When all your life, that's what you were doing, filling out applications, registrations, not really knowing the essence of where it's coming from,
Yes.
and you just accept it and go along with it, and you've been doing it all your life. But now something that is for your salvation, and that your brother is bringing or your sister is bringing to you, you're so skeptical, and you want to scrutinize it to the point where it's like, you know what, this ain't for me.
You know?
But everything else that is not for you is for you.
Thank you.
Facebook. You can fill out the application for Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
Fill it out for YouTube.
Everything.
MySpace,
Everything.
Stuff that
They
you
make
know
you
is
feel like-
government, FBI. Yeah, okay, sure.
What are you giving up? Like, what did you, like, you gave up stuff by signing all those other documents.
Right.
So Like you gave up rights for privileges and stuff like that. So what are you really giving up? Or what are you so afraid? Like that's what it is. It's a real fear
Thank you.
of letting go of your comfort zone or the things that you've been conditioned and programmed to do and think.
The root cause of every single ailment there is known to existence. Fear.
Trust me.
Every single ailment started with the spiritual fear. Something feared something. It went against, is scared of the natural process of creation. And I heard someone I was reasoning with today was saying, instead of going with the current, they got them to turn against the current.
Go against the grain, right?
Wow.
Because when you fear,
Wow, that's the end of
when
the
you
day.
fear, it triggers certain things in your body,
Yeah.
and it sends
It
off.
sends out
It
messages. Sends out messages.
messages,
Yeah.
Straight up.
And that's like, it's like the you know, the secret shit, whatever, the law of attraction, one of the laws, like, what
Yeah,
you put
you
out, what you
attract it.
project is what you
get.
get.
Yeah.
Right. This is the war that we're in.
Mhm.
This is the war that our people are going through. For real, that's respect for the topic of the class. All right?
So
Yeah.
brothers, sisters, Negro, black, colored people. Even if you want to be black, put more on it.
Stop
Even if
being
you want
nice.
to be Negro, put more on it. Even if you want to be colored, put more on it.
Good point.
At least you have a little chance of stalling them from exterminating. Right? Because that's the most that you can do right now, stall them. And the best way to stall them is proclaim your nationality. That'll definitely stall them. Right? You know, there's people saying, oh, well, nationality can't stop bullets. Well,
Neither can no nationality.
neither can no nationality. Right?
It can take your car and your house from you if that bullet doesn't kill me.
Right?
After I put a lien on your sorry self.
Right? So it's about just accepting it as yours. Whether you want to accept it or not is up to you. It doesn't matter. Like more is going to be doing what we do because this is just what we have to do, right? But like Prophet said, what's all you Moors doing here? There's only going to be a handful of you saved, and I'm going to have fingers left over. I could count how many of you are going to be saved on my hand and have fingers left over.
Alright, there you go.
Oh, that kind of scared brother right there, yo.
You're not one of them.
Oh no.
Yeah, yo, that's how serious we have to digest because this is the prophet. It's not just some dude covering about some liberation for his people and all that. Like, this is the prophet. Yes, there's false gods and we can't trust everybody, but we never trusted Noble Jolly before, so don't even judge the book by its cover.
True.
You know what I mean? We trusted everybody else. Right?
We still trusting up
To
Up
be
to now,
true.
still trusting.
Up to now, I'm still trusting them. Right? Know that they're infiltrated and all that. Know that they're an agent.
See pictures of them with communists.
That's something to bring up, yo.
And still,
Right.
and still.
Come on, say it.
And when you know something is not right, and you do nothing about it, right? Like if you know, like, if we're being nice and we know it, we're still doing it. That's actually an ego problem. You would think it would be the opposite. You would think that if you're putting yourself up in front and only thinking about yourself first, that you would have an ego issue, but it's actually the opposite. If you're not thinking of yourself and you're putting everybody in front of you, your ego issue, or in this case, is if the people are not, if the people see something that's obvious and they're not dealing with what's in front of their face, they have an ego problem. That's what's actually going on, is that they can't humble themselves to actually deal with the situation. So they allow it to go, but the result looks the opposite. As if the person who's like, I know myself and I love myself, they don't have the ego problem. Right? So it's like our problem with our people is ego.
Because I could do something about it,
But I'm not.
That's right.
you think you're on this thing.
Saved.
Yeah, like you're better than people. Like
Jesus
Right.
came for me.
You're with me, right?
You're too good to sacrifice yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
because he already did it for us, or because I'm a member of this higher society, right? That we don't mix with peasantry, or we don't have to deal with like all kind of excuses
Yeah.
to just feed our ego, or feed the ego of people, and they put that in place. That's King Alfred's plan.
Shit.
So all the black groups and all this black power is to feed your ego, right? To be in fear of the cracker.
Straight.
Cracker's doing this, the cracker's doing that. And this person is doing that, this person doing that. And like Illuminati, put Ike out there and all they do is talk about how scary things are.
Right.
Scary this and the lizards are gonna get us.
People
And the flipping,
coming down.
yeah, it's just scary, scary, scary. That's the infiltration.
Yeah. It's loud.
Especially
Alex Jones.
he's the most like yeah. They kind of bust their bubble with that one. I'm like, come on, man.
So
You give out, no, there's some info on it that I'll be like, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't know. Whitney Houston was sacrificed by da-da-da-da-da. And then after, I'm like, hold on here. Let me remember who it's coming from.
Yeah.
And then after you compare the story to what he's saying, it's like you're taking us on some other
Field
journey
trip.
about
Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Chilling with the black metaphysician.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all dead.
Right.
We're all dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The last one.
All because they changed the objective of what nationality is and what group is. So they took the group, bigged up the groupism thing for us. But no one gives a damn about what you do on your personal. I mean, you have that freedom.
It's loud.
It's loud.
There we go. That's that.
Alright, so just a quick. This class brought to you by Iron Sheik 4 Rapper Inquisition.
Yeah, straight up.
Okay,
Live
that-
direct.
Live and direct, yo.
Quick note
The
too.
one.
I was just thinking about something. I thought about it before, but like from the infiltration perspective, if like Goddess Mocha was saying, if that's the case, then at the time when they were the FBI was trying to find out if the Moorish Science Temple or Moorish Holy Temple of Science was an advocate of the Japanese during the Vietnamese or the Vietnamese War.
The
Japanese, right?
Japanese,
Okay.
yeah.
Right? And if there was something that was like wrong with the movement, like they would have been done from then.
Yeah.
Affiliating with that. They would have
Yeah.
been demolishing temples over here. They
Exactly.
wouldn't throw bombs, but they'd be demolishing
Yeah.
temples.
And then even
Throw bombs still?
Yeah, on their own land, on their own land.
even with the temple, having the Japanese in the temple, even it would imply that maybe
These people are in cahorts with them, right? But that didn't
happen. They
I
didn't.
just walked under the bridge.
Right, yeah, that just passed through. That was never the issue. Right? Because of the dodge drafting too. The draft dodging
Draft
too.
dodging.
Yeah.
Dodge.
Dodge drafting. The draft dodging too was like you're supposed to go in there and serve the US against the Japanese. Not you know what I mean? Not serve the US.
Yeah.
And what are you, for the Japanese? That's an easy target if they were not in proper person.
Yeah.
If they were just
Aye.
merchandise, of course, that's a good excuse.
That's like I said, it's scary. Like for corporate to deal with a natural people, a natural nation, dangerous, man. And once they realized Drew Ali was sincere and that, well, he's not a guy who went and like got supported or got sponsored by any
Corporate.
foreign or
International
corporate or international
gangster.
group, they were like, well, get it. Let's just put a guy on the 407 and mess with him and put an image up. Let's not actually like touch people.
Scare tactics, you know.
Because yo, that's dangerous. Like, that's dangerous. Nationality order of the day. People don't understand, but
They'll get it.
they'll get it.
One kick in the ass by the cracker. They'll get it.
There's hopefully not too many Trayvon Martin
Yeah, cause
to get it.
heating it up right
Come
now.
on.
So we'll close out. Say Islam to all the viewers and everybody in presence.
Islam.
Islam to the Canaanland,
Islam,
all
Norris.
staff, Islam. We're gonna close out. Allah, the mother and father of the universe.
Allah, the mother and father of the universe.
Mother and father of love.
Mother and father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide.
Our guide.
And our salvation.
And our salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through a holy prophet.
Through our holy prophet.
Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Lord.
Tell.
Islam.